In the rolling hills of southwestern Ohio, where Little Miami River winds its way through the quiet suburbs and dense woodlands, a bizarre legend has taken root. But what if I told you it's not just a legend, and that if you ever find yourself near this river, you will certainly remember this story, not to mention the actual video proof. So, on a chilly March night in 1972, Officer Ray Shockey of the Loveland Police Department was patrolling a lonely stretch of road near the Little Miami River. And as his cruiser's headlights cut through the mist rising from the water, Shockey saw something that would change his life forever. So there, crouched by the roadside, was a creature unlike anything he'd ever encountered. Standing about 3 to 4 feet tall, it had this leathery, frog-like skin and a face that seemed to blend amphibian and humanoid features together. And as the headlights actually hit the creature, it started to turn its head, eyes reflecting, but with an intelligent gleam. And before Shockey could even react, the being leapt over the guardrail and disappeared into the murky waters of the Little Miami. Despite adrenaline rising, the officer sat in his cruiser, heart pounding, trying to make sense of what he had just witnessed. Shockey would later say to his skeptical colleagues, "I know what I saw. It wasn't a man in a suit, and it sure as hell wasn't any normal animal. This thing, it was something else entirely." But 2 weeks later, Officer Mark Matthews had his own encounter with what came to be known as the Loveland frog. And just like any normal night, he was out on patrol when he got a call about an animal that was on the road. So he was dispatched to that site, and when Matthews arrived, he saw the exact same creature matching Shockey's description. But this time, fear overriding him, the officer actually drew his weapon. But he hesitated at that moment to fire, unsure if what he was dealing with. And then, like before, the creature escaped into the river, leaving behind only questions and a growing sense of unease in the community. And right after that, as news of the sighting spread, locals began to come forward with their own stories. Tales of strange creatures seen right along the riverbanks that had been circulating for years. But like almost all in the paranormal community, most have been too afraid of ridicule to speak up. And longtime Loveland resident Martha Clement said, "My grandpa used to tell us kids about these quote-unquote river devils when I was growing up. We thought they were just stories, to keep us from playing too close to the water. Now, I'm not so sure." Clearly, at this point, it's a local phenomenon that is growing because cryptozoologists and paranormal investigators flocked to Loveland, eager to unravel this mystery. Some of them even drew connections to the Native American legends of water spirits, while others speculated about mutant creatures resulting from industrial pollution in that river. But Dr. Allison Weaver, a biologist specializing in amphibians, offered a more measured perspective. She said, while it's tempting to, jump to these fantastical conclusions, we have to consider more mundane explanations. She said large aquatic salamanders, like the quote-unquote hellbender, can grow to surprising sizes and might be mistaken for something more mysterious in the right conditions. But for many Loveland residents, no ordinary explanation could account for what they had experienced. And reports continued to trickle in over the years. Glimpses of shadowy figures along the riverbank. Strange tracks that were actually found in the mud. And these eerie, soft, and constant cries echoing across the water on foggy nights. But in 1985, the legend of the Loveland frog took an unexpected turn. A local businessman, Sam Jacobs, claimed to have captured one of these creatures. Nobody in the town believed it until he actually showed them, and he presented this large taxidermied specimen that appeared to match the description from the 1972 sightings. And for a brief moment, it seemed that the mystery actually might be solved. But upon closer examination, Jacob's Loveland frog was revealed to be an elaborate hoax, a combination of various animal parts and clever sculpting. And when he got caught, he said, "I just wanted to bring some attention to Loveland. I never expected it to go as far as it did." And the hoax might have discredited the entire Loveland frog phenomenon, but for many, it only deepened the mystery. Why go to such lengths to fake a creature if there wasn't some truth to the legend? Well, as the years passed by again, sightings became less frequent, but the legend of the Loveland frog remained firmly entrenched in its local lore, and it became a part of the region's identity, inspiring everything from quirky town festivals to craft beer names. But for those who had encountered the creature firsthand, like officers Shockey and Matthews, the Loveland frog was far more than just a colorful local legend. People can believe what they want, Matthews said in a rare interview years after his encounter. And then he said, "But I know what I saw that night. It wasn't a hoax. It wasn't a misidentification. There's something out there in those waters that science hasn't explained yet." And in recent years, a new generation of cryptid hunters has taken up the search for the Loveland frog, armed with night vision cameras and environmental DNA sampling techniques. These investigators hope to finally provide conclusive evidence of the creature's existence. I mean, we're not just running around in the woods with flashlights, explained Tessa Riordan, who is the founder of the Ohio Cryptid Research Society. She said, "We are applying vigorous scientific methods to investigate these sightings. If the Loveland frog is out there, we're going to find it." And their efforts have yielded some intriguing, if unconclusive, results. For one, unusual DNA sequences have been isolated from those water samples, and infrared cameras have captured fleeting images of large, unidentified creatures moving through the underbrush along the river. I'm sorry, but to the normal person like me or you, isn't that enough for us to have our common sense kick in and be like, okay, there's something out there that cannot be explained. There's something. But yet there's always skeptics when it comes to this, and I wonder why. But perhaps the most compelling recent development actually came in 2016, when a group of teenagers, believe it or not, claimed to have encountered and filmed a creature matching the Loveland frog's description while playing Pokemon Go near the river. And the video was shaky and brief, but it does show a bipedal, frog-like creature lumbering across a moonlit field before disappearing right into the shadows. Now, while skeptics were quick to dismiss it as a hoax or a misidentified known animal, the footage reignited interest in the Loveland frog legend. Folklorist Dr. Emily Chambers noted, "Whether you believe in the Loveland frog or not, these stories tell us something important about our relationship with the natural world. They remind us that there are still mysteries out there, still things that we don't fully understand. In an age where we think we've explained everything, creatures like the Loveland frog challenge us to keep an open mind." And if you like the story so far, please hit that like button and know that I will always try to bring you the best, most mysterious paranormal content. But for the residents of Loveland and the surrounding areas, the legend of the frog has become a part of their region's fabric. It's a reminder of a time when the boundaries between the known and the unknown were less certain, when any shadow on the riverbank could actually hide a mystery. Local historian there, Gerald Fisher, said, "Do I believe there's a race of frogmen living in the Little Miami? Well, I don't know. But I do know that this legend has brought our community back together and has made us look at our environment with a sense of wonder. And in a world that can seem all too ordinary sometimes, a little wonder isn't such a bad thing. And as twilight falls over the Little Miami River, the waters whisper with secrets. Perhaps in the deepening shadows something stirs. Something not quite frog and not quite man, but a creature that exists in the boundary that spaces between the world we know and the world that we have yet to understand. The legend of the Loveland frog continues to evolve, a living testament to the enduring power of mystery even in our modern age. And I'm thinking about going there and shooting a part 2 to this because I also live in Ohio. So if you ever come to Ohio, first, stop by to visit me. But if you come for the mystery, make sure to check out Loveland and the Little Miami River, because who knows? You might just be looking out at a beautiful sunset when all of a sudden you hear a splash. I tell you, I love mysteries like this. And if you also love mysteries, then finding out what really happened in cabin number 28 should be the next thing to do on your to-do list. And you can find that episode right here, and it's a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you next time. Cheers.